Y'all, Washington is on fire tonight because apparently the Erika Kirk scandal just detonated a whole new bomb, and this time it's landed straight inside J.D. Vance's marriage. Sources close to the family are whispering that Usha Vance, the quiet, brilliant, camera-shy powerhouse who's always kept herself far from political chaos, has now taken the first step toward divorce, and insiders are saying the trigger wasn't money, wasn't infidelity, wasn't politics. It was Erika Kirk. Yep, you heard that right. According to multiple insiders, Usha found out about a private connection between JD and Erika that goes way deeper than anyone realized. A connection that allegedly began months before Charlie's death, a connection JD apparently hid from his wife, and a connection that is now blowing apart one of the most high-profile marriages in American politics. And the part that has everybody losing their minds? Usha reportedly confronted JD with receipts, messages, meetings, and one single file labeled EK Private. Moments later, JD was seen leaving their home alone, looking completely shattered. Was this a political alliance gone wrong? A secret partnership JD never expected to be exposed? Or something even darker? Grab your popcorn, because what Usha found changes everything. The moment the news broke, Washington didn't just whisper, it screamed. Screens lit up from D.C. to Silicon Valley with the same headline, Usha Vance makes shock divorce move, JD seen leaving home alone. And just like that, a marriage the public thought was unshakable suddenly looked like it was hanging by a thread. But the internet wasn't shocked long, because within minutes, the rumor that everyone really cared about started spreading. Erika Kirk was involved. To understand how this mess exploded, you gotta rewind a few months, way before Charlie Kirk's death, way before the scandal blew up, and way before Usha ever imagined her marriage would become political entertainment. Behind closed doors, Capitol insiders say J.D. Vance and Erika Kirk had been forming what they called a strategic partnership. Publicly, it looked harmless: faith events, conservative media panels, charity networking. But privately, people close to them said the energy was off. Erika, always polished, always glowing for the cameras, had a way of making powerful men feel like they were chosen. JD, rising star and newly minted vice president, wasn't immune. Their meetings became more frequent, their messages more personal, and their conversations started happening at times Usha didn't know about. And Usha, who everyone describes as smart, grounded, calm, didn't say anything at first. She trusted her husband. She believed in him. She believed the rumors were just noise, until she found the file. It started with a late-night email sync on JD's laptop, a task Usha sometimes handled because she managed their schedules. One folder caught her eye: EK, Private. Her stomach dropped before she even clicked it. Inside were voice memos, message drafts, and private notes JD had recorded after meetings with Erika. Some were harmless, but others sounded like emotional confessionals. One clip in particular went viral after an insider leaked a portion of it. Erika understands what I'm battling in a way Usha never will. Sometimes I feel like she's the only one who sees the whole picture. That single line was enough to blow up the marriage. Usha confronted JD in the middle of the night, and neighbors reported hearing shouting, crying, and one loud slam that echoed through the quiet D.C. neighborhood. JD tried to explain, insisting that Erika was just a political ally, someone he was forced to work closely with because of donors, because of the campaign, because of optics. But according to the insider who leaked the scene, Usha wasn't having it. You don't hide files under someone's initials if it's just work, she snapped. And here's where things get even messier. Because Erika didn't just stay in her lane, sources say she started calling JD directly at night after Charlie's death. She allegedly said she needed a strong, trustworthy male influence around her during the transition. She said she felt unsafe. She said she needed someone who understood the mission Charlie started. Usha saw those calls on the phone records. And the timestamps? Midnight, 1:13 a.m., 2:48 a.m. No woman calls a married man at those hours unless there's something emotional or manipulative happening. And after Charlie died, Erika started showing up in all the places JD was supposed to be alone. Private strategy sessions, closed-door Senate briefings, invitation-only cocktail meetings. She always found a way in, and JD always let her. One staffer said it plainly. She acted like she was the first lady of the movement, and JD enabled it. So when the scandal around Erika exploded, the rumors, the accusations, the eerie videos, Usha began putting dots together that she had ignored before. Dots that suddenly formed a picture she wished she'd never seen. She confronted JD again, this time with printed logs, screenshots, emails, and a transcript from one of JD's staff group chats. Their argument reportedly lasted 2 hours. Then Usha did something she had never done in their entire marriage. She walked away. JD was seen leaving through the back door of their home, carried a duffel bag and his laptop. He wasn't crying, but he looked broken. Like a man who finally realized he had pushed the one person who actually loved him to her limit. Meanwhile, Erika, she hasn't said a word publicly. Not a single post, not a single denial, not a single statement in support of the Vance family. Instead, she's been spotted at private prayer gatherings, smiling, calm, almost glowing, the way she always appears after chaos swirls around her. Now, here's where the internet went wild. A screenshot leaked from someone close to Usha. It was a message Usha sent to a friend hours after JD left the house. All it said was, he never knew what she hid, and now he's paying for it. That one line turned the conspiracy flames into a wildfire. People think Usha discovered something massive, something JD didn't even know, something that ties Erika's manipulative energy, Charlie's suspicious death, and JD's downfall together. Some think Erika used JD strategically. Some think JD fell emotionally into her orbit. Some think Erika was positioning herself to influence the VP behind the scenes. And some think Usha stumbled onto something that scared her enough to leave immediately. Whatever the truth is, one thing is certain. JD Vance, America's rising political star, is shattering behind closed doors. And the woman at the center of his spiral? Erika Kirk. Because every scandal she touches destroys someone new. And this time, it might destroy a marriage, a career, and a political future. If part 1 cracked the surface of JD and Usha's marriage, part 2 is where the fault line splits in half, revealing just how deep Erika Kirk's influence actually went and why Usha felt she had no choice but to walk away. Because the moment Usha filed the preliminary divorce motion, something strange happened. People inside Washington started calling her, not to comfort her, not to support her, but to warn her. 3 anonymous sources, all tied to different conservative donor circles, reportedly told Usha the exact same thing. Whatever you found, stay quiet about it. Let that sink in. Usha didn't even go public yet. She didn't accuse anyone. She didn't leak a word. And yet people rushed to tell her to keep silent. Why? Because according to insiders, the EK private folder JD was hiding wasn't just emotional notes. It contained information tied to a much larger network, something JD himself didn't fully understand. When Usha started digging deeper, she realized JD had been wrapped into a circle of influence built around Erika. A circle that included donors, strategists, media handlers, and operatives who seemed to orbit her like she was the sun in the middle of the system. And here's where things turned sinister. One staffer from the Vance Senate office revealed that several months ago, JD was pressured to attend late-night strategy calls, led by someone from Erika's inner circle. These weren't normal political meetings. They reportedly involved messaging scripts, emotionally driven talking points, and coordinated narratives designed to elevate Erika's public power. JD pushed back at first. He didn't like the tone. He told them he wasn't their puppet. But after Charlie died, something changed. JD suddenly became more available, more lenient, more willing to show up at Erika's events. And Usha knew, because she checked, that JD had never behaved like this before. But the real breaking point came after one private dinner JD never told his wife about. A dinner where Erika allegedly told JD, "You're going to be a key part of what comes next. I trust you more than anyone." What exactly was coming next? Nobody knows. But one of JD's aides leaked that. After the dinner, JD came home quiet, distant, and strangely overwhelmed. He didn't mention Erika's name. He didn't talk about the meeting. He just sat in his office with the door closed for nearly 2 hours. That night was the same night the EK private file was created. Coincidence? Not anymore. When Usha opened the rest of the folder, she found something she never expected: a series of draft statements written by JD, meant for Erika. Personal statements. Emotional statements. Statements JD never sent, but clearly wanted to. One read, "I feel like I'm protecting something bigger than us, even if I don't understand it yet." Another read, "I can't tell Usha. She won't get it. You will." That one destroyed her. But the most chilling draft was the longest one, the one JD wrote only 4 days before Usha confronted him. "Sometimes I think you were sent to me right when my life was shifting. I don't know what God is doing, but I feel pulled toward you in ways I can't explain." That was the line that reportedly made Usha's hands shake. Not because JD admitted emotional attachment, but because the timing didn't match the story Erika always told. JD wrote that draft before Charlie died, meaning whatever pull he felt toward Erika, it didn't come from grief. It didn't come from tragedy. It didn't come from empathy. It started earlier, much earlier, which is exactly why Usha confronted him with fire in her voice. According to the insider who heard the fight through the walls, Usha shouted, "She planned this connection before Charlie died. How did you not see it?" And JD reportedly shouted back, "Because she made me feel like she needed me, like I mattered." That was the slip, the confession, the truth Usha had suspected. Erika didn't seduce JD romantically. She seduced him emotionally, politically, spiritually. She made him feel chosen, and JD fell for it. But here's where things get even darker. Right after JD left the house that night, Usha got a phone call from a number she didn't recognize. When she picked up, the person on the other end didn't introduce themselves. They only said 7 chilling words: "Don't get involved in matters beyond family." And they hung up. Usha froze, because that wasn't a threat. It was a warning. Within hours, Usha filed the initial divorce petition. And while JD was sitting alone in a hotel suite trying to breathe through the fallout, Erika was seen at a private home in Arizona, surrounded by donors, smiling, laughing, and looking more radiant than ever, almost like someone who had just advanced her position by destroying another woman's home. But the biggest twist came 2 days later. A friend close to Usha leaked that she found one last file, hidden not on JD's laptop, but on his old iPad. A voice memo from JD recorded 2 months before Charlie's death. In it, JD said, "Something feels wrong. I feel like she's drawing me into something I can't explain. I don't know if I should be around her this much. JD felt it. He sensed it. He knew something about Erika wasn't normal. But whatever she did, however she spoke, whatever she convinced him of, it pulled him anyway. And Usha realized the horrifying truth. Erika wasn't just influencing JD, she was reprogramming him. By the end of part 2, the question is no longer, why is Usha leaving? It's, how many powerful men have already fallen under Erika's influence without knowing it? Because if JD Vance, Vice President of the United States, polished, disciplined, guarded, could be pulled into her orbit, who else already has? If you thought the emotional wreckage between JD and Usha was the height of this scandal, Part 3 proves we're not even close. Because after Usha packed her bags and left the house, she did something nobody expected. She went public. Not fully public, not with interviews, not with statements, but with a series of deliberate coded posts that the internet picked up instantly. 3 photos, no captions, no context, a courtroom hallway, an unopened envelope stamped confidential, a torn wedding photo folded in half with JD's face hidden. The moment she posted them, Twitter exploded. Conservative influencers scrambled. Donor group chats melted down. And inside DC, the whisper was instant. Usha's ready to burn the whole house down. But what nobody knew yet was the real bomb she was holding. Because the night after she left JD, Usha reportedly met with Charlie Kirk's sister, the same sister who's been quietly hinting that Erika's story never added up. That meeting, it changed everything. According to someone who overheard them, Usha showed Charlie's sister the full contents of JD's EK private folder. When she finished reading, Charlie's sister said one chilling line, "My brother didn't know who he married, and neither did you." That was the moment Usha realized she wasn't just in a marriage crisis. She was stepping into a machine, one built long before she ever entered the picture. And that machine was being run by someone who understood influence on a level most people never even see happening. But the true turning point came when Usha discovered something JD hadn't meant to leave behind. A calendar alert he forgot to delete. It was a single line, EK, Reston Meeting, with the location tied to a private residence owned by a billionaire donor named Michael Redwood. But here's the twist. Michael Redwood isn't just any donor. He's one of the same individuals Candace Owens exposed in the Charlie Kirk investigation. One of the power players Charlie privately said was trying to pull strings he shouldn't touch. That's when Usha knew the emotional pull JD felt toward Erika wasn't personal. It was engineered. JD wasn't the first. He was just the most valuable. So Usha started digging deeper, and what she found next was the kind of thing that could end political careers overnight. A hidden communications app folded inside JD's phone, disguised as a weather widget. When she opened it, a private message thread with a name she didn't recognize, M. Redwood Liaison. And inside that thread were messages that made Usha's heart drop. JD is on board. He trusts her. Keep reinforcing the emotional vulnerability angles. Another message read, reminder, her presence lowers resistance. Use her where influence matters. Her, Erika. They weren't talking about policy. They weren't talking strategy. They were talking about psychological manipulation. JD wasn't partnering with Erika. He was being targeted using her. And the worst part? One message from months earlier said, Charlie sensed too much. Her access narrowed after that. That line sent shivers down Usha's spine. Because if Charlie started pulling back from Erika, and then he suddenly died, and then Erika rose in influence faster than anyone expected, people online started connecting dots Usha didn't want to even consider. But Usha wasn't the only one connecting dots. Because the moment she accessed that hidden chat, one of JD's devices triggered a security alert. a silent notification that someone had opened something that was supposed to stay buried. Not even 5 minutes later, Usha received a text from an unknown number. "Stop! You don't know what this is." Usha didn't respond. She kept reading, and the deeper she went, the darker the messages got. There were logs of strategy discussions about JD's emotional patterns. He responds to spiritual guilt. Use faith language to redirect doubts. Erika should initiate contact before donor calls. This wasn't influence, this was behavior shaping. JD was being handled not by one person, but by a network using Erika as the front-facing asset. But the worst message, the one that made Usha burst into tears, was from exactly 5 days after Charlie's passing. It said, "Proceed as planned. Erika will step forward. JD remains critical for Phase 2. Phase 2. What is Phase 2? Nobody knows. But Usha knew this. JD wasn't a villain. He was a pawn, and Erika wasn't a grieving widow. She was the centerpiece of a power operation that seemed to stretch far beyond Turning Point USA. And that brings us to the moment everything exploded, because Usha didn't keep this to herself. She sent screenshots to one journalist, not a major media outlet, but an independent political reporter known for exposing donor corruption. Within hours, DC was in meltdown mode. The reporter posted a teaser. "The Erika files are coming." Just 6 words, and the internet detonated. JD panicked. His staff panicked. Influencers panicked. And Erika? She posted a smiling photo in Arizona with the caption, "Grace wins. God is good. Onward." The comments instantly filled with chaos. "Why are you smiling? What did you do to JD? What is Phase 2? Why does every story lead back to you?" But the real shock came that night, when JD Vance stepped out of a side entrance of the Capitol, red-eyed, silent, visibly shaken, and when a reporter yelled, "Has your marriage collapsed because of Erika Kirk?" JD froze mid-step. Shaking his head, staring at the ground, he whispered, "You have no idea what's going on." And then he got in the car. Part 3 ends here, but Part 4 is where the biggest twist yet drops, where JD confronts Erika, where the donor network panics, and where Usha's documents leak publicly. By the time the sun rose over DC the next morning, the entire town was vibrating with one question: what did JD Vance know? And what did Erika Kirk make him believe? Because after his shaken, whispered comment, "You have no idea what's going on," Washington realized JD wasn't protecting Erika. JD was afraid of Erika, and that fear pushed him into the most shocking move of all. He asked to meet Erika privately, not in Ohio, not in Arizona, not at the Capitol. He requested a meeting in a secure, camera-free room inside a donor-owned townhouse in Georgetown, the same location where multiple insiders claim Phase 2 was first mentioned in that encrypted message thread, and through a single leak from someone present in the building. When JD walked in, he looked like a man going to his own funeral. Erika was already inside, calm, composed, smiling that same serene, polished smile that's making half the internet suspicious. She didn't even look surprised to see him. The room was dim, lit by a single lamp, a long marble table between them, a folder neatly centered on Erika's side. No cameras, no staff, no witnesses. It was exactly the kind of room where secrets go to die. JD didn't sit down. He stood, hands shaking, eyes red. He didn't bother with small talk. "You destroyed my marriage," he said, voice cracking. Erika didn't flinch. She leaned back slightly and said something that, according to the source who overheard part of the conversation, sent goosebumps through JD's entire body. "Your marriage was collapsing long before I walked into your life. I didn't cause the cracks. I revealed them." JD slammed his hand on the table. Stop playing with me. Someone used you to manipulate me, and I want the truth. Erika paused, tilted her head, and then she whispered, JD, people like us don't get to choose the truth. People like us. That line broke him because JD suddenly realized the horrible possibility. Erika wasn't the mastermind. She was the messenger, the lure, the handler, but not the architect. JD sat down slowly, hands gripping his knees, breathing unevenly. Who is behind this? He asked. Erika didn't answer. She simply slid the marble folder toward him. JD forced himself to open it, and what he saw inside made him go pale. It was a single sheet of paper, just one, with a list of names. Names JD recognized instantly: a senator, 2 billionaire donors, a well-known national strategist, a CEO of a nonprofit security group, a media executive, and the one that made JD's stomach drop, someone from his own presidential transition team. At the bottom, in small letters, Phase 2 participants. JD pushed the paper away like it was poison. What is this? What am I looking at? He whispered. Erika finally leaned forward, her voice soft, controlled, disturbingly calm. This is the part they didn't tell you. You weren't chosen for me. I was chosen for you. JD froze, heart pounding, hands trembling. Everything suddenly clicked. Those late-night meetings, those donor calls, the emotional pull he felt toward Erika that he thought was personal chemistry. None of it was him. It was them, the network, the machine, the system Charlie tried to break away from, the system that tightened its grip the moment he pushed back. JD licked his lips, voice barely audible. And what happens in Phase 2? Erika didn't answer immediately. She simply closed the folder, then looked him dead in the eyes, and said, Your role becomes permanent. JD swallowed. Meaning what? Erika stood up, adjusted her jacket, walked toward the door, but before leaving, she turned back and delivered one last line. Do not join your wife's side. If you fight this, JD, you will lose more than your marriage. And she walked out, leaving JD alone in that soundproof room, shaking, sweating, and staring at the door like it was the doorway to his own downfall. But while JD was meeting Erika, Usha was doing something much bigger. Remember the screenshots she gave that independent journalist? Well, he didn't sit on them. He sent them to 2 major investigative reporters, one at Politico, one at The Atlantic, both of whom immediately started verifying timestamps, metadata, and encryption logs. And within hours, a huge leak hit the internet. J.D. Vance emotionally manipulated by network using Erika Kirk as political asset. It spread like wildfire. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Telegram, political Reddit, private donor chats, leaked congressional group texts, screenshots from JD's hidden messages, the behavior modification notes, the lines about spiritual guilt and pre-phase grooming, the Phase 2 participant list. It all hit the internet in one detonation. JD Vance's phone blew up. Calls, texts, blocked numbers, donor reps, campaign advisors, even White House staff trying to control the damage. And in the middle of the meltdown, someone leaked a short clip to social media. A video of JD walking out of that secret Georgetown meeting, eyes red, jaw clenched, looking like a man who just had his entire life dismantled in one sitting. The caption, JD knows. The internet lost its mind. But here's the wildest part of Part 4. An hour after the leaks, Erika went live, smiling, calm, hair perfect, voice tranquil, and her first words were, I forgive them. They're hurting. They don't understand the bigger picture. The comment section exploded. What bigger picture? Why are you smiling? Are you the mastermind? What isn't JD allowed to say? Who is phase 2? Why are men falling around you like dominoes? And then, right before ending the live stream, Erika said, "People fear what they can't control." And she winked, a wink that sent chills through the entire political world. Part 4 ends here, but the grand finale is where everything comes together. Usha goes public. JD breaks down. The donor network retaliates, and a shocking name from the list steps into the light. And now, here we are, standing at the edge of a scandal that's no longer just about JD Vance, or Usha, or even Erika Kirk. This story has ripped open something much deeper, a network of power, influence, manipulation, and silence that has been operating in the shadows for years. And the craziest part? We still haven't even hit the bottom of it. Tonight, you watched marriages crumble. You watched alliances fracture. You watched the mask slip right off one of the most mysterious women in modern politics. And you watched the Vice President of the United States walk out of a secret meeting looking like a man who finally realized he was never in control of his own fate. So the question is, what do you believe now? Do you think Usha exposing the Erika files will finally bring the truth to the surface? Do you think JD will break free from the machine that's been shaping him behind the scenes? Or do you think Erika isn't the pawn, but the queen? Because let's be honest, nothing about this story feels accidental anymore. Not the pilgrimage in Israel, not the donor strategy calls, not the phase 2 list, not the timing of Charlie's death, not JD's emotional rewrite, and definitely not that eerie wink Erika gave after going live. So drop your thoughts below. Was this love, a setup, a political operation? Or something even darker? Hit like if you felt the chills. Subscribe because trust me, the next chapter is going to expose names no one expected. And share this video because silence is exactly what the powerful are counting on. This story isn't ending, it's evolving. And the next leak might be the one that blows the whole thing open. ChatGPT can make mistakes. OpenAI do,